Hello everybody, welcome to this Verbling class. My name is Amy and today's class is an advanced speaking class. I'm starting a little bit of a new series whereby we're going to be focusing on some more advanced language in specific areas of English, such as science or technology, business, some of those more advanced vocab and grammar constructions that are really specific or relevant to one topic area that are not necessarily used so much in general English. Today's topic is actually a part of the science branch, and we're going to be looking at global warming. So we're going to be reading an article which you can find attached to the class description. It's actually a blog post, but it's a really nice kind of gentle introduction to this topic, which is quite in-depth, obviously. There's some great vocabulary which is to do with not only global warming but also science topics in general. And if you'd like to practice your speaking and also learn a few new words, not just based around science, but also about sort of describing your opinion, talking about topics with a little bit more depth to a bit of a higher, more advanced level. Perhaps you're preparing for an exam, or perhaps you just want to reach the next level with your English, then do come along and join us this morning or this evening, wherever you are. Before we get started on that, I'm going to let you know that there are two useful pages that you can check out when you have a moment here on Verbling. There is, first of all, my Verbling Facebook page, and if you'd like to go ahead to that, you will see that I upload a little introduction usually to my week's classes, point out something that might be of interest to you. There's also, if I find something interesting during the week or a really great clip on YouTube, perhaps an article that I've read that I think might help you, I do usually post links there. So do go out and check that out if you're interested in learning how to speak with a British accent, or if you want to learn a little bit about the history of English. I think my latest videos are on Facebook, so do have a look at that if you have time. The next thing is my Verbling teacher page, and all of the teachers on Verbling have a teacher page. This is a really great resource for you if you want to find out a little bit more about a particular teacher, or if you want to make sure that you can attend either their classes or have private tutoring sessions with that particular teacher. So go ahead to their teacher page. You'll see their schedule on there of both classes and tutoring slots. You can also write us a message. If you have any questions about anything or you'd like to inquire, then do write us a message using that feature. And if you would like to follow any of the teachers, then you can receive automatic notifications of what they're doing, so that makes life a little bit easier for everybody. Okay, so as I said before, if you've just joined us, today's class is part of a new series on advanced specific vocabulary, which sounds a bit scary. Basically what it is a series of classes where we're going to be talking about a specific subject at a more advanced level, focusing on expanding our vocabulary and learning how to speak a little bit more in depth with a bit more specific terminology related to a particular topic area. So today's topic is science broadly, and we're going to be looking at global warming. So do load up that article if you're waiting or want to have a look, see what we'll be doing today. And I'm going to say hi to our students. So first of all, I'll say hello to Claudio.
Hello, Amy. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. I'm great, thank you, Claudio. So, tell me something that's happened in the last 24 hours to you, Claudio. Anything? Did you work? Did you sleep?
Of course, I slept. Well, we are kind of celebrating the national independence. It's this whole week, so we are. There's a festive,
a festival?
ambient.
Yeah, festival, yeah.
Festival ambient. Ambient.
There's a festival, what?
How to say it? Feel in the air.
Oh, there's a festival atmosphere.
Festival feel in the air. Yeah, atmosphere, yes.
All right, a spirit of
You get
partying.
me.
That sounds good. Yeah. So what day? Do you have an official Independence Day?
Yes.
Which day is it?
September 18.
Okay. Oh, okay. So yeah, that's actually today for me, but tomorrow for you, I'm guessing.
Yeah, because you're in the future.
I
Well,
am in the future. Yeah.
it's 18 and 19 is the day of the army, something like that.
Okay, so a lot of sort of like important dates all at once, and so you have the whole week of partying.
Yeah, that they gave me the week off
Really? You have a whole week of
on my
holiday?
practical.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome, Claudio. Damn, if only the British had independence, but we were the one who conquered everybody. Oh dear. We should have celebrations for when we
Stop
released their
showing out.
country. No, do you know, we're having a big referendum tomorrow, like when people wake up in the morning, to see whether Scotland's going to leave the UK. Oh my goodness. So actually, it's kind of a big deal, yeah. And I'm not a big fan of
Yeah,
the fact that the British
I
went
was
around the world.
wondering,
Hmm.
what's going to happen with the human the flag the jack
The Union Jacks. That's a great question, Claudio. I
the
haven't
Union
actually
Jack.
thought of that. It was going to look weird without blue, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Just a red star with white.
Yeah,
Who
that's
knows?
true. It's gonna. I don't know. That's a very good question. We'll have to see first of all, I guess, whether Scotland stays or goes, and then we'll have to sort everything else out. So we will decide.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, at least you can
Well,
enjoy.
what's your stand?
What's my
Can I get it?
stance? My stance. My stance, Claudio, is that I hope Scotland stays with the UK because I love being part of a union of countries and my family has Scottish heritage. I think it would be really sad if we split up. That's my personal stance.
Uh-huh.
But I'm not Scottish, so I probably have a different opinion. All right. Well, welcome to the class, Claudio. Good to talk to you.
Thank you.
Luigi, hello.
Oh, hi, teacher. How are you?
How are you? Jinx.
I'm very well, thank you.
Me too. Tell me a piece of news. It may not be that you have Independence Day. Luigi, I've forgotten actually which country you're from.
I'm from Brazil.
Brazil, okay. So tell me,
Brazil.
what piece of news do you have for me? Anything?
A piece of news.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Well, it's not big news, but I have class today, all day,
English?
like every day.
Oh, are you studying at
No,
university
actually
or?
my college classes.
Okay, and what are you studying?
I'm a medical student.
Medical student.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You know, that's something I could never do, really. I just could
Why
not
not?
be a doctor. I hate anything to do with doctors, medicine, being ill. Oh my gosh, I'm the worst nurse in the world. If you're sick in my house, you've got no hope because I'm so bad at looking after people.
Well, it's not a problem for me to be sick unless it's with me.
Yeah, okay. You don't like getting sick.
We have no problem. We can cut and everything. We don't feel any pain.
And what are your hopes, Luigi? Are you going to be a surgeon, or are you going to specialize in heart parts or bones or children, or what
Well,
do you feel like?
I'm currently thinking about ophthalmologists,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not sure. I still
All
have
right.
time to think.
Okay. I think that's one cool thing about medicine is that you, I suppose, have knowledge of everything, but then you can decide on one particular area and focus on that, which means you get to
I have a lot
be
of
extremely... Hmm? Yeah. All right. Well, welcome to the class, Luigi. I'm glad you had a good day of study.
Thank you.
Who else do we have here? Raphael, how are you today?
Hello, Amy.
Hello. Do you have a child with you, Raphael? Or is that somebody else's microphone?
No, My dog is here.
Ah, your dog. Okay. Well, hello to Raphael's dog. What's your dog's name?
Marley.
Marley.
Yes.
As in the movie.
Yes,
Have you seen
yes.
the movie? Oh, that made me cry, that movie. But I am a bit soppy.
Sad ending.
Yeah. Oh. But anyway, I think dogs definitely are part of the family. You can't avoid it, so when they eventually die, it is pretty sad. Okay, so what am I going to ask you today, Raphael? Your question of the day. Okay, your question of the day is, if you could choose which month to be born in, like as in which month you would have your birthday, which month would it be?
Oh my God. Uh, I don't know. Maybe April.
Why? You knew I was going to ask that.
Honestly, I don't know why. I don't have any preference. I haven't thought about it yet.
Okay, when is your
Honestly, I don't-
birthday? Which
April.
month is... Oh, your birthday's in April, and you like it being in April? Well,
Yes,
you
it's
don't.
fine by me.
Okay, well there you go. Very good. Welcome to the class. Nice to see you.
Sorry about the answer, but I don't have a better answer for this.
That's okay, no problem. I'll say
And
also
you,
hello. Huh?
and I'll reply the question to you.
If I could choose which month to have my birthday,
Yeah.
well, it would depend which country I live in. If I stay in New Zealand, I would like to have my birthday in February because I like summer. You know, I think it's more fun having a birthday in summer because you can have like a party and stuff outside, and I don't know, probably that. But then, if I was in the UK, August for sure. So, you know. All right.
Okay.
I'm just going to answer Claudio's question. Claudio, you can say stance or stand, but you have to use them differently. So if you ask somebody, what's your stance, then you're asking from which position are they looking or thinking. Or you can say, where do you stand on this issue? Okay? I'll say hi to Ernesto. Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can indeed. Ernesto, have we met before?
So sorry, I can remember. I can understand your question.
No problem. I just wondered, is this the first class you've attended with me, or have you come? It is, okay. Just checking, because sometimes I don't remember every single student I've ever had, but it's nice to meet you, Ernesto. Where are you from?
I'm from Chile.
Okay.
I live in an island called Chiloé.
Okay, and is that off the coast of Chile?
It's in very south of Chile.
Wow. So it's like very cold. Is it cold where you are right now?
Yeah. We have a very hard winter this year because this year we have a winter called La Niña.
Yes, I've heard of it.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't know very much about it, but I know that it's to do with like currents and stuff, and it also affects the UK eventually, like the water currents or something, and I'm not too sure, but I have heard of it.
Okay.
All right, so Ernesto, that's an unusual place to live. How many people live on the island that you live on?
You know, I guess here there are around 35 million people.
Okay, so 35 million on your island?
35. Maybe I made a mistake. 35. 100 people.
30, I think. Okay.
1,000 people.
1,000, yeah?
1,000 people, yeah.
That sounds more like it. All right, because 35 million, I'm sure that can't work.
Yeah. So
All right,
sorry.
so that's quite large. All right, well, that's a very interesting.
You know, I am new on Berlin.
Okay.
So I really not sure what level are and on the different kind of classes. So
Okay.
also I don't know what is the method to learn English with this system.
Okay, so you need a bit of, well, maybe it's just a case, Ernesto, of trying it out. I think that with verbaling classes, what the teachers try to do is to assign a rough guide as to what the class will be. So obviously beginner is quite easy, but the difference between intermediate and advanced is difficult to define. So I would say, just from speaking to you now, either intermediate or advanced classes would suit you. It really depends on the students who attend the class each time.
Oh, okay.
So you'll be fine.
Okay. So
All right.
I'm going to be right here while I can.
Absolutely. And if you need any help, just let us know. The other students are normally very helpful, and I will do my best if you have any questions too about the platform, okay?
Okay. Just the last question. Can you see me?
Yes, I can.
I can. Ah, yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
All
So
right.
let's
So,
go.
all right. It's you don't have to have your camera on if you prefer not to. That's cool. So students just kind of fluctuate in and out of cameras or pictures. But it's easier for me if I can see you because I can see your mouth and that kind of thing. So that's cool. All right, so everybody welcome. If you have a look at the chat box, which is on your right-hand side, the verbaling chat box, you should see the link to the article that we're going to take a look at today. And we're not going to read this from top to bottom, but we are going to use it as a sort of basis for discussion. So you'll see that it's about global warming. And I'm now going to share my screen with you so that we can take a look at what we've got first of all before we get started. I'll zoom in a little bit. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see that. This guy, his name is Jeffrey Bennett. I don't know a lot about him, but I found this blog post. He's well informed and he writes well. He also uses a high level of vocabulary, or high-ish. Not too scientific as to be difficult to understand. So I'm hoping that this will help you. The point of these classes basically is so that you are able to expand your vocabulary, not just passively but also actively. So the point is that we're going to be reading but also trying to discuss what we read using a little bit more, I suppose, interesting, advanced level vocab that you'll find in the article. So what I do suggest you do, guys, is to grab a pen and paper, or maybe you prefer typing, but just to make some notes today. If there are some words that you come across that you think, yeah, I understand that, but I probably don't use it myself, and I would like to use that, write it down, and we'll go through a couple of these that I personally feel could help you. Just take your time with speaking today. There's no rush. I'd like you to just think about what you're saying and push yourself a little bit. So I know all of you relatively, apart from Ernesto, who I now know. I know that all of you are capable of really kind of pushing yourselves a little bit with the vocab and discussion that we'll have today. So I encourage you to do that. Okay, we'll begin just by having a brief introduction. If somebody could volunteer to explain to me in their own words what actually is global warming. Just a rough idea. It doesn't have to be very in-depth, advanced, or exciting. What is it? What's the topic?
Global warming is the air pollution. that
Yep.
destroys the ozone layer on the stratosphere,
Very good.
and that makes the mean of the global temperature to rise about 1 or 2 degrees, and so that's enough to melt the icebergs in Antarctica, and that will make the ocean level to rise.
Yep. That will make the ocean level rise. Okay, very good description. Thank you, Luigi. All right. So that's a great introduction. I'm sure that we've all heard of it. Okay, we all pretty much know, whether in English or in our own languages, what this is. But it's a lot of, well, there's a lot of controversy, there's a lot of debate, there's a lot of confusion. It's a big, big topic that affects everybody, but it doesn't affect us so much so that it forces us to do anything quite at the moment. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to ask Claudio. Claudio, do you ever think about global warming? Is it part of your life at all?
I think I do when recycling, and when I prefer to use my bike instead of, a car or the bus.
Yeah.
And small things like turning off the lights, turning off the TV when I'm not using it. Yeah.
All right. So
So.
you are conscious of sort of the habits or behaviors that you exhibit during your week. Sometimes it does cross your mind, the possibility of helping something to do with global warming. Yeah. Okay. Good point. Ernesto, what about you? Does this affect your life at all? Do you ever think about global warming?
Are you asking me about if sometimes I think about it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot about it. In fact, when I was a little child, I thought about it. Now I am a little nihilistic. So now I'm not sure if the information that we used to receive every day are very, if we really can trust in that information.
Okay, that's a very good point that you've just made. Okay, when you say the information that you receive, who exactly do you receive it from? Are you talking about like national news, or how do you receive that information personally?
Are you asking to me, or?
Yeah, I'm asking you, Ernesto.
I used to receive that information on television. I used to read the newspaper and internet almost every day. Here in Chile, we have some news about to take care of the environment. That facts are make that we always have to think about it and to receive a lot of information about global warming.
Okay, great. Thank you for that, because it's interesting to hear this perspective of other countries, because I know that it plays a role in the news here too. It sounds quite similar. Okay, what I'm going to do is ask Raphael if you could read just the first paragraph for us here, Raphael, please.
Is global warming real or imagined? Although the news media make this sound like a difficult and contentious question, the basic science is actually quite easy to understand. So for anyone who wonders what to believe, this primer should help you understand the truth behind the headlines.
Okay, thanks, Raphael. Any questions about vocab there, guys? Do we understand that whole paragraph? No? Yes? All right, I just want to point out that this is quite a useful and juicy, may I say, word. Contentious. I'm going to be pointing out these words as we go through the class today, just as from a personal perspective or from a teacher's perspective, words that are kind of good to use in exams, make your English sound more interesting and more advanced. The types of words that native speakers would use when we're discussing these kind of subjects. So that's one of them. It means causing arguments, likely to cause arguments, basically. So it can be used in all sorts of areas of life. All right, we're going to scroll down. This is an interesting video to take a look at, but we're not going to watch that now. Feel free to watch it later. We're going to continue from here. Raphael, if you wouldn't mind continuing reading from here all the way down to there, please.
Starting points. Global warming. 1, 2, 3. For all the arguments you may hear in the media, the basic science of global warming starts with two simple facts that lead directly to one simple conclusion. Fact 1. Carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases trap heat and make Earth warmer than it would be otherwise. Fact 2. Human activities such as the burning of fossil fuels, coal, oil, gas, is rapidly increasing the amount of carbon dioxide in Earth's atmosphere. Inevitable conclusion. We should expect the rising carbon dioxide concentration to warm our planet, with the warming becoming more severe as we add more carbon dioxide.
Thank you, Raphael. Okay, first of all, any questions about this section? Any questions about vocabulary or meaning? Do we understand what it just said? So it's giving us basically the real simple overview, the facts and the inevitable conclusion. All right. I just want to point out that this little section includes some great words which are related to global warming that you'll hear every time global warming is talked about. So first of all, we have the global warming itself. Carbon dioxide obviously is a gas. Greenhouse gases or greenhouse gas is an important kind of phrase that we use to describe the gases that trap heat and make the Earth warmer. Do you guys know what a greenhouse actually is?
Oh.
Anybody?
Yeah, when you put your plant to not to freeze.
Yes, that's exactly right. Can you describe it a bit more, Claudia? What does it look like?
Like a little house with glasses for
Glass.
walls.
Yep.
Glass.
Glasses are the things you put on your face, yeah, to see better.
Yeah, glass.
Yeah.
Instead of walls.
Yeah, exactly. So it's basically a small shed that you put in the garden. It's made of glass. A lot of people in the UK have them because our weather is so bad that we want the sunlight to help the plants grow, but we don't want the cold air to stop them. So the sun comes into the greenhouse through the glass, and then it gets trapped inside, and therefore the greenhouse is very warm. And that's kind of why we use this. I don't know whether in your languages we have a similar translation. Okay, fossil fuels is another one I want to point out because this is always used when we talk about this subject. Obviously the atmosphere of the Earth. And the word concentration is quite important as well. carbon dioxide concentration. Can anyone explain to me what that means? What do we talk? What's this word concentration?
The amount of carbon dioxide in a single.
Yeah, quite
yes.
simply. Great, thanks, Raphael. Okay, so let's continue to read. I'm going to get Audio to read the logic, please.
The logic above seems rock solid. But of course, logic alone is never good enough in science. We need to establish that the facts are really facts, and that the seemingly inevitable conclusion is actually backed by evidence. In the rest of this primer, I will show you the indisputable evidence behind the two facts and conclusion. At the end, I'll comfort some of the skeptic arguments head on. If you harbor any doubts at all about the science of global warming, I hope you will read all the way through. Let's begin with some Q&A, question and answers, relating to the starting point argument above.
Good, great reading. Thank you, Claudio. This is primer, this word here, primer.
Primer.
Yep. What is a primer? Anybody?
It's like an article?
Yeah, it's actually just a sort of short introduction to something, but very close. So a primer is something, quite a short piece of writing that informs you about something. And that's basically what we're reading now. Okay, let's take a look at this paragraph one more time. If you do have any questions about vocab, guys, please just let me know, because that's really important. Sorry, I missed the word. Which word?
Harbor.
Harbor,
If you
okay.
harbor any doubts.
All right. To harbor a doubt is simply sort of like a phrase that we use when you're talking about if anybody doubts anything or has any problems or any questions about something. The word harbor itself is actually the place where boats are moored. So on the coast of a country, you'll see a harbor. That's where you'll find the boats. But this phrase, to harbor doubts, is a handy one to remember. If you want to use UK spelling, we actually put a U in there. But this is an American article, so that's why it's spelled like this. So that's a really good phrase to remember, to harbor doubts. You can harbor doubts about anything. Some other good ones to point out in here. To establish the facts. Establish the facts is a great phrase if you want to talk about setting out the facts of something, an argument. Seemingly is a good one. Does anyone know or can think of any synonyms for seemingly?
Apparently.
Apparently, yeah, excellent. So those type of it's really good if you need what you want to do is clarify your meaning. So all of these adverbs and adjectives, just change the meaning a little bit to make everything that you say a little bit more accurate. So they can be really handy. Inevitable is also a great word. What does inevitable mean?
Can't avoid.
Inevitable means unavoidable, or something that is basically definitely going to happen. Evidence is obviously quite an important one. To confront something. Skeptic or skeptical is a really great word to talk about having doubts, right? So if you harbor doubts, then you're probably skeptical. Alright, so what I'm going to do is just, guys, I'd like you to load this up in your own window so that you can refer to it as we go along. And I'm going to ask Luigi, if you can tell me, Luigi, in your own words, what have we read so far? Basically, what have we learnt? Who is this man and what is he talking about?
Oh, it's talking about global warming and the cause behind it, and it's trying to explain for someone that is skeptical
Yep.
about the evidence of that global warming is real.
Absolutely, that's perfect. Well done. All right, so we're going to have a look at, there's three kind of main questions. And what we're going to do is read the questions and then discuss them ourselves. So the first question, if Ernesto, could you read question 1, please?
In the starting point above, fact 1 claims that a higher atmospheric concentration of carbon dioxide will make Earth warmer. Is there any doubt that all other things being equal, higher carbon dioxide concentrations do indeed make planets warmer?
Good, thank you, Ernesto. All right, before we look at the answer, we're just going to focus on the question for a few moments, everybody. All right, first I'm going to point out some useful words for you. 1, to claim, or something claims. What does this mean, guys, specifically?
To affirm?
State.
Okay, to state, yes, but it's a little bit more specific than to state. Anybody know what's sort of special about this word?
To affirm.
Okay, yep, to assert. Both of those are great. Basically, if you claim something, it's quite often used when you're going to argue a point, because it means to say that something is true, even though there may be some people who say it's not true. So scientists claim that global warming is happening. What it means is that scientists say it's happening, but other people say it's not happening. So you know if you use that word that there are going to be two sides to the argument, basically. Okay, another word in here that could be useful. Indeed. When do we use this word? What does that actually mean?
As
Certainly.
a intensifier.
Yep, it's an intensifier. And what does it, yeah, why do we use it? When do we use it?
You could just for really.
Yeah, okay. So really is yes, another way of saying it, but really is probably a low-level, common, boring word. Indeed is probably the next step up, right? Basically, it means that something is without any question. And if there's some kind of a statement that's made that has a doubt or is doubted, then you can say indeed to verify that there's no doubt as some kind of a response. So that one's quite a handy one. You'll see it now and again, just to intensify. Okay. Alright, so we'll look back at the question. What do we know ourselves about this? If you just take a look at the question, I'll ask Raphael. Raphael, what's your personal knowledge about this? Are there doubts in your mind about this whole thing that carbon dioxide is making the Earth warmer? What doubts do you have, if any?
Well, I'm not a specialist in pollution, but several specialists said that the concentration of carbon dioxide involving the Earth can block the sun rays to go to irradiate to the atmosphere. So that's one of the reasons they claim to about the global warming.
Yep.
I don't know. I think a fuller explanation requires a chemical specialist. I think.
Absolutely.
I think you have to discuss atoms and molecules in order to to say if whether or not the, the concentration of carbon dioxide can or cannot make the planet warmer.
Okay, good answer. What I want to point out, guys, is that just keep your eye on the chat box, because I'll be typing stuff in there that can help you as you go along, maybe corrections or suggestions. So, okay, we're going to read the answer to this question now. I'm going to ask Luigi to read it for us, if you would, please, Luigi. Are you there, Luigi? No. Don't forget you've got to unmute your microphone to talk. He may have popped off to get a coffee. Okay, in that case I'm going to ask Claudio to read again for us.
Sure. Answer, no doubt about at all. The basic mechanism by which carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases, including water vapor and methane, heat planetary atmospheres, is called the greenhouse effect. This mechanism was first demonstrated in the laboratory more than 150 years ago, and is so well tested and well understood that you will not find any scientist who dispute it. For those who are interested, Figure 1 below shows how the greenhouse effect works. In fact, the greenhouse effect occurs naturally on Earth, and that turns out to be a very good thing. Without it, Earth would be far too cold for liquid water or life. Studies of other planets show that the greenhouse effect can be even more important in determining a planet's surface temperature than the planet's distance from the Sun. Venus provides the most extreme example. Although Venus is closer to the Sun than Earth, its clouds are so reflective that less sunlight reaches Venus' surface than Earth's surface. As a result, without the greenhouse effect, Venus would be colder than Earth. But because Venus has sorry, I lost Venus.
Here we go.
But because Venus has a thick atmosphere containing far more carbon dioxide than Earth's atmosphere by a factor of about 117,000, Venus, no, I read it back. Venus' actual surface temperature is a searing 870 Fahrenheit. Given that the naturally occurring greenhouse effect is a good thing for life on Earth, Venus offers proof that it is possible to have too much of a good thing.
Okay, thank you, Claudio. Really great reading, because that was quite tricky. Okay, first of all, you've taken that in. Claudio's probably been focusing mostly on his pronunciation. Okay. What I'd like to ask you guys is, any questions about vocabulary, and did you understand everything that was said there?
Searing.
Okay, what does searing mean? Anyone know?
No.
Nope. It basically means that it's extremely hot. If the pan is, it means it's absolutely boiling, okay? Very, very hot, basically. It can also mean extremely intense. It doesn't have to be to do with heat. It could be very intense, something very strong. But here we're talking about temperature, so it's heat. Any others? All right. I'm going to ask Raphael. Raphael, can you, in your own words, tell me basically what's the answer to this question? If I asked you this question here that we read before, what would you tell me based on the answer you've just read?
I think it defends the idea that carbon dioxide concentration really warms up the temperature. He's using the Venus example about due to the fact that Venus is closer to the Sun than the Earth. Despite this fact, despite Venus being closer to the Earth, to the Sun than to the Earth, the temperature could be less. The the temperature could be lower than the Earth, but due to the greenhouse gases, because the concentration there, it's there are too much there's more concentration than the Earth. The temperature they reach higher temperatures, so I think that's what the author tried to explain.
Okay, very good, because that's quite a lot of information condensed into that paragraph. All right, so it gives the example of Venus. And Venus, there's three things that are really important about it. One, Venus is closer to the Sun than the Earth. Two, Venus's clouds are extremely reflective. And three, Venus has an extremely hot atmosphere. And you've explained it really well, Raphael, so well done. Okay, so basically what he's saying in that, as Raphael just pointed out, is that there's no doubt that an increase of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere makes the Earth warmer. So no scientist disputes that. Obviously, it's a lot more complicated than this, and we're going to scroll down, have a look at the diagram later if you want to question number 2. So I'm going to ask Claudio to read question number 2, please.
In the starting point above, Fact 2 claims that human activity has been raising the concentration of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases in Earth's atmosphere. Is there any doubt about this fact?
Great, thank you, Claudio. This word here is gases. 1 gas, 2 gases.
Gases.
Yeah. Just want to point out that we talk about raising or lowering concentration of something. And if we're talking about the levels, a higher level or a lower level, a high or a low level of concentration levels, okay? Okay, so before we have a look at the answer, I'm going to ask Luigi. Luigi, what do you think about this? What have you heard about the fact that humans are interfering with the carbon dioxide levels in this problem with this situation?
Well, mainly by the industry and the cars and the population that is rising every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. How do you say when you destroy a forest?
Yep, deforestation.
Deforestation, okay.
All right, so you've mentioned some really important factors. Do you think that people are, most people are quite aware of this now? Most people have some understanding of global warming?
Well, I believe most people do, but it's not something that most people can help in any mean. I think the main problem is about the industry and the governments.
Absolutely. I have to agree with you there, Luigi. It's kind of like a global problem. All right, we're going to read the answer. Luigi, I'm going to ask you to read this one, please.
Okay, no doubt at all. Oops. No doubt that at all. Figure 2 shows the carbon dioxide concentration over the past 800,000 years, and probably more than it has been for at least several million years, along with the corresponding data for temperature variations. Data since 1958, showing the inset at right, are direct measurements of the atmospheric carbon dioxide concentration, while the other data come from a study of air bubbles trapped in Antarctic ice core samples. Notice that the carbon dioxide concentrations shows natural variations ranging between about 180 and 300 parts per million, and that these variations clearly correlate with Earth's global average temperature. The clear concern is this: in recent decades, the concentration has skyrocketed to more than 400 ppm, parts per million, make the current carbon dioxide concentration far higher than it has been for at least 800,000 years. The timing of this rise makes it fairly obvious that human activity is responsible for it. But there's additional evidence that makes it even more certain that the rise is due to us. The isotopic composition of the carbon in fossil fuels is slightly different from that from other sources, and careful measurements, you can go down a little bit.
Sorry, there we go.
Scroll down. Thank you. Where was it? Measurements. Leave no doubt that the added carbon dioxide is coming largely from the burning of fossil fuels. The same is true for the other greenhouse gases, such as methane.
Methane.
Carbon dioxide. Methane. Carbon dioxide gets the most attention because it is the most common greenhouse gas released by human activity, and because it can remain in the atmosphere for the longest time. But it is important to pay attention to other greenhouse gases as well.
Thank you, Luigi. Really great reading. Okay, any questions, guys, about vocabulary? Okay, I'm going to run through a couple of phrases that I'd like you to sort of note down or just see if you can include in your English. Alright, so the word corresponding is useful in lots of different situations when you're talking about things that go together. Variation is a good word. What's a synonym for variation, guys? Anyone think of anything? Or what does it mean? Ben?
Amplitude?
Amplitude? Okay, yeah, that's talking about either end of the scale, but that's, yeah, absolutely right. Maybe fluctuation as well. But that's talking about more about the change, so that's a good one. What else have we got in here that's handy? Correlate. To correlate. What does the correlate mean?
You just said it now. They go together.
Yeah, absolutely. Connected, right? Somehow connected. Something to be a concern is a really handy one. So if something is a concern, then it's something to worry about. The skyrockets, I love that one. Haha. Because it's so, I don't know, evocative, I suppose. You can imagine a rocket shooting into the sky. Something going up very quickly and very impressively. Okay, I think that's probably all I want to point out. I'm going to ask Claudio. Claudio, what would you say about this if I had to ask you to summarize this quite briefly? What did we learn in this answer, basically?
It roughly says that in history you can see natural variations of the carbon dioxide concentrations. In the last decades, you can see that it's that concentrations and those variations has by far been over overwhelmed.
Yeah, okay. So struggling a bit for a word there, yeah? What you mean is increased, but you want to say something a bit more dramatic. I would maybe say surged, yeah? Or
Surge, yeah.
skyrocketed.
Skyrocket.
Right, yeah. Okay, continue. Doing great. What else?
And well, he added some other fact that support that theory. In addition to the natural variation I can record.
Okay.
The fossil, no, something of the fossils.
Yeah, you're right. Let me scroll down a bit so you can
Coming
see.
largely from the burning. Added carbon dioxide is coming largely from the burning fossil.
Are you still going, Claudio?
Yeah.
You're thinking?
I don't know what isotopic means.
Aha, okay. So this
not even
isotopic.
in Spanish.
Okay, this is a very scientific word. To be honest, you don't really need to understand this particular word to get the idea of the article. Basically, according to the dictionary, let me give you the exact definition of isotope so that we don't get any confusion because it's very related to chemistry. So an isotope is any one of various forms in which the atoms of a chemical element can occur. And obviously isotopic is the adjective. So what it's saying is isotopic composition is basically how the atoms in a chemical element are arranged. Okay, so the composition means how something is arranged. So the composition of the atoms, and you know what atoms are, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's a bit tricky. But basically all it's saying is how the carbon looks to a chemist in fossil fuels has changed. So that we can tell that that's because of human interaction, and it's not, if you look back over the thousands of years before humans were there, it looked a little bit different. Do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit tricky, I know, but you did great. Well done,
Yeah,
Claudio.
well, I don't quite get if because you know that the fossil fuels are from far from uh, eons ago, and
Yes?
well, how can that be changing?
I see. Okay, let's have a look at it really carefully before we finish. What it says is the isotopic composition, or how the carbon in fossil fuels is arranged, or how it looks, is different from other sources, right? So the carbon dioxide that is released when fossil fuels burn is able to be measured because scientists can tell the difference between that and other carbon dioxide. Okay, so what they know is that the carbon dioxide that is coming into our atmosphere is definitely mostly from burning fossil fuels because they are able to identify from where this carbon dioxide has come because of its isotopic composition. So, i.e., there's carbon dioxide that comes from burning fossil fuels and there's carbon dioxide that comes from other sources. But we know that most of the carbon dioxide is from fossil fuels just because it looks a special way. Can you see what that's saying? No?
Over my head. Over my.
All right, Claudio. Don't worry about it. You've done extremely well, everybody. We're going to have to finish now anyway. If you have any questions, Claudia, or you want to read a bit more into that, and you get stuck in it, write me a message. I'll get back to you later on, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, guys, I'm going to have to finish now because I've got a writing class. If you want to practice using your vocab writing, we're going to learn some new words today, so come and join me. Otherwise, well done and some good speaking. Don't forget to include some of these new words in your next scientific discussion that you have with your friends. And take care, and I'll see you all soon, hopefully.
Bye, Amy.
Bye.
Bye. I'm going to let you know that there are 2 useful pages that you can check out when you have a moment here on Verbling. There is, first of all, my Verbling Facebook page, and if you'd like to go and head to that, you will see that I upload a little introduction usually to my week's classes, point out something that might be of interest to you. There's also, if I find something interesting during the week or a really great clip on YouTube, perhaps an article that I've read that I think might help you, I do usually post links there. So do go out and check that out if you're interested in learning how to speak with a British accent, or if you want to learn a little bit about the history of English. I think my latest videos are on Facebook, so do have a look at that if you have time. The next thing is my Verbling teacher page, and all of the teachers on Verbling have a teacher page. This is a really great resource for you if you want to find out a little bit more about a particular teacher, or if you want to make sure that you can attend either their classes or have private tutoring sessions with that particular teacher. So go ahead to their teacher page. You'll see their schedule on there of both classes and tutoring slots. You can also write us a message. If you have any questions about anything or you'd like to inquire, then do write us a message using that feature. And if you would like to follow any of the teachers, then you can receive automatic notifications of what they're doing when we release their countries. No, do you know we're having a big referendum tomorrow, like when people wake up in the morning, to see whether Scotland's going to leave the UK. Oh my goodness! So actually, it's kind of a big deal, yeah. And I'm not a big fan of the fact that the British went around the world.
Well, what's going to happen with the human the flag, the Jack, the
Union Jack? That's a great question, Claudio. I haven't
Union
actually thought of that. It was going to look weird without blue, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Just a red star with white.
Yeah, that's true. It's gonna. I don't know. That's a very good question. We'll have to see first of all, I guess, whether Scotland stays or goes, and then we'll have to sort everything else out. So we will decide. All right. Well, at least you can enjoy.
What's your stand?
What's my stance? My stance. My stance, Claudio, is that I hope Scotland stays with the UK, because I love being part of a union of countries, and my family has doing, so that makes life a little bit easier for everybody. Okay, so as I said before, if you've just joined us, today's class is part of a new series on advanced specific vocabulary, which sounds a bit scary. Basically what it is a series of classes where we're going to be talking about a specific subject at a more advanced level, focusing on expanding our vocabulary and learning how to speak a little bit more in depth with a bit more specific terminology related to a particular topic area. So today's topic is science broadly, and we're going to be looking at global warming. So do load up that article if you're waiting or want to have a look, see what we'll be doing today. And I'm going to say hi to our students. So first of all, I'll say hello to Claudio.
Hello, Amy. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. I'm great, thank you, Claudio. So, tell me something that's happened in the last 24 hours to you, Claudio. Anything? Did you work? Did you sleep?
Of course, I slept. Well, we are kind of celebrating the national independence. It's this whole week, so we are. There's a festive,
Hello everybody, welcome to this Verbling class. My name is Amy and today's class is an advanced speaking class. I'm starting a little bit of a new series whereby we're going to be focusing on some more advanced language in specific areas of English, such as science or technology, business, some of those more advanced vocab and grammar constructions that are really specific or relevant to one topic area that are not necessarily used so much in general English. Today's topic is actually a part of the science branch, and we're going to be looking at global warming. So we're going to be reading an article which you can find attached to the class description. It's actually a blog post, but it's a really nice kind of gentle introduction to this topic, which is quite in-depth, obviously. There's some great vocabulary which is to do with not only global warming but also science topics in general. And if you'd like to practice your speaking and also learn a few new words, not just based around science, but also about sort of describing your opinion, talking about topics with a little bit more depth to a bit of a higher, more advanced level. Perhaps you're preparing for an exam, or perhaps you just want to reach the next level with your English, then do come along and join us this morning or this evening, wherever you are. Before we get started on that, oh, yeah, festival, yeah?
Festival ambient. Ambient.
There's a festival, what?
How to say it? Feel in the air.
Oh, there's a festival atmosphere.
Festival feel in the air. Yeah, atmosphere, yes.
All right, a spirit of partying. That sounds good. Yeah. So, what day? Do you have an official Independence Day?
Yes.
Which day is it?
September 18.
Okay. Oh, okay. So yeah, that's actually today for me, but tomorrow for you, I'm guessing.
Yeah, because you're in the future. Well,
I am in the future. Yeah.
It's 18 and 19 is the day of the army, something like that.
Okay, so a lot of sort of like important dates all at once, and so you have the whole week of partying.
Yeah, that they gave me the week off.
Really? You have a whole week of holiday?
My practical.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Claudio. Damn, if only the British had independence, but we were the one who conquered everybody. Oh dear. We should have celebrations for